Tonight, caring for the vulnerable, how a local organization is adapting to the pandemic to help senior citizens.
And remembering an icon, a West Duluth woman who died earlier this year gets special congressional recognition.
Plus, not far enough. On the day Minnesota's governor signs historic police reform legislation, some are saying there's still work to be done.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. Keeping a distance and trying not to spread any germs can be difficult, especially when working with a high-risk population.
And for those at a Grand Rapids nonprofit aimed at helping senior citizens, it's their everyday task. CBS3's Emma Quinn spoke with those at Elder Circle to find out how services have changed.
The Elder Circle's YMCA campus has been very quiet the last few months.
And we've had to close the adult day site, unable to serve our 17 participants who would come on a daily basis.
Executive Director Renee Bymark says being closed, they've turned to virtual programs and classes, something many of their senior clients aren't comfortable with or used to.
Getting the technology into people's hands and teaching them and walking them through how to utilize those are probably our biggest challenges.
With many clients choosing to stay home, more volunteers are needed, especially for the grocery shopping services.
Has increased a little over 450% in clients compared to the full year of 2019.
Volunteers Jan and Earl Erickson typically drive clients to and from doctor's appointments.
So probably about 8 years.
Yeah. I do pretty much all the local rides. He does the navigation, so we know where to go.
While they aren't driving as much since doctors' offices are still closed to some services, they say you don't have to leave the house in order to help.
Well, I'm very vulnerable, and like I said, I stay home and I do the scheduling for him, and so you can always find a way to be active.
Elder Circle officials say with the summer weather, clients are able to get outside and enjoy the sunshine, but they are concerned if the pandemic continues at this rate through the fall and winter months, as isolation for elders can be difficult.
Today, Wisconsin's governor said he's considering a statewide mask requirement. Governor Tony Evers made that announcement during a press conference this afternoon. He says state leaders will continue listening to the advice of local and national health experts in making their decision. With or without a mandate, he says everyone can do their part now by wearing a mask, social distancing, and slowing the spread.
The continued trend this week of record day increases in positive cases is dangerous, unsustainable, and dilutes the months of effort all of you put into staying home to help protect the health and safety of our communities.
Wisconsin's total confirmed cases jumped by more than 1,000 in the last day, continuing the state's daily record trend. 13 more people died, and Wisconsin health officials say a third of those who tested positive in the last month are in their 20s. Meanwhile, Wisconsin's K-12 schools can soon apply for $46 million in COVID-19 relief money. Governor Evers says the money is from the CARES Act and will go to the schools most impacted by the pandemic.
In Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz says he'll announce plans for the coming school year 1 week from today. The state's Department of Education shared that news today. School districts across Minnesota have been asked to plan for 3 scenarios: learning in person, online, or a hybrid of the two.
All right, and here comes Dave for our first look at the weather, making a grand entrance. There he is. Hey, Dave.
I needed something last second there, Tony, and of course it seems like my foot locker is locked.
Okay.
Got to find the combination someplace. And boy, what a combination we had the past couple of days. Drier conditions and sunnier conditions. Today's high temps around our area, for most of us, south of the Laurentian Divide, undercutting normal, which is 77. From the Laurentian Divide to the north, a little warmer than normal, 79 towards 80 degrees. Somebody with a doctorate needs to write the paper on what effect, if any, the weather actually has on the Laurentian Divide there. You know, a lot of people talk about it. None of us are researching it. But for the short-term research here, we're looking at higher pressure to leave our area. That low-pressure system coming is going to chase away the fair weather of today and could do so tomorrow morning with the tune of a 20% rain chance, giving way to a break in the afternoon, and then a 30% chance for storms later on tomorrow night, which could become an even bigger chance for stronger storms by Saturday night. And we'll show you the latest theories on all of this coming up in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Governor Tim Walz signed into law a police accountability bill sparked by the death of George Floyd. Lawmakers worked for weeks to come to terms on police accountability reforms and measures to ensure racial justice. As Reg Chapman reports, while some are excited about this bipartisan supported legislation, there are others who say it doesn't go far enough.
With the stroke of a pen, Governor Tim Walz made the Minnesota Police Accountability Act law.
This bipartisan piece of legislation moves us towards a critical step towards criminal justice reform. These critical reforms are long overdue.
Walz believes this piece of legislation ushers in some of the most significant changes to the state's criminal justice system in years.
They're meant to strengthen transparency and community oversight. They do some things that I think many thought were already the law. They ban chokeholds and warrior training and expand de-escalation training for our officers.
The new law also requires the duty to intercede and report the use of excessive force by a fellow police officer. The Post Board is tasked to create a use of force policy that will apply to all of Minnesota's law enforcement agencies.
The reform and the legislation doesn't go far enough to really end racialized policing and over-policing of black and brown communities.
Mike Elliott sits on the board of the American Civil Liberties Union. He is also the mayor of Brooklyn Center. He acknowledges the hard work that went into getting this legislation passed, but feels more needs to be done.
It does not include a special prosecutor to oversee these cases when police kill someone. And, I think that that's incredibly important to have.
Elliott says it's not time to pat ourselves on the back for a job well done.
Lawmakers need to sit down with community members, and we need a real coming together. This moment calls for the very best of all of us, and we have to put aside our differences, and we have to make right. The whole entire world is watching us.
Other community-based organizations say they should be included in talks going forward on how to add teeth to the new legislation. Lawmakers say they look forward to conversations with the community to make sure all of Minnesota is represented.
A member of West Duluth received honors on the floor of the House of Representatives today. Congressman Pete Stauber spoke about the life of Rosemary Stradioti, who recently passed away from COVID-19. CBS3's Kendall Jarbo joins us with the legacy Stradioti left on her community. Kendall.
As the daughter of a World War I veteran and the wife of a World War II veteran, Rosemary Stradioti dedicated her life to honor those who fought and sacrificed for our country. Along with her husband, Joe, Stradioti started the West Duluth Memorial Day Parade in 1960. She organized it for more than 50 years. She also served as the president of the West Duluth American Legion. Stradioti made a special effort to ensure the children in her community knew the meaning behind Memorial Day. She passed away from complications with COVID-19 in June. She was 89 years old. Stauber spoke this morning in honor of her life well lived.
She was known to say, if it wasn't for the soldiers who gave their lives for you and me, we wouldn't be here today.
Along with her other contributions to the community, Stradioti led an effort to restore a veterans monument in Duluth after it was vandalized. Stauber says her family and the entire West Duluth community already misses her, but hopes they are comforted in knowing she will be long remembered.
Certainly a shining light for the West Duluth area and really all of Duluth. Kendall Jarbo live for us in the newsroom tonight. Thanks, Kendall.
An Eveleth family is celebrating their first night in their new home. Habitat for Humanity held a dedication ceremony today for a home delayed by the pandemic. It's one of 4 the program had to hold off on completing. It's finally done thanks in part to the sweat equity Amber Strand and her family put into building it. Organizers say the chance for a new home also gives people the chance for a new life.
There's a lot of our neighbors who are living in substandard housing in conditions that are really terrible. This gives every one of us the opportunity to come to volunteer, to donate, to make the ability for someone to have a simple, decent, affordable home a reality.
It's been a great process. I've learned a lot with everything, and I'm very appreciative for everybody that has helped.
A number of businesses, organizations, and community members from the Iron Range lent a hand and their support to Habitat for Humanity and the families who benefit.
Canal Park visitors were on the hunt today after one business left them chasing clues. Lake Superior Art Glass held a scavenger hunt for today's National Marble Day. In its first year participating, the gallery hid 10 glass marbles early this morning around Canal Park. Clues to each marble were given throughout the day online, and gallery manager Brian Burns says he hopes to make the hunt an annual one.
You gotta find opportunities to make fun in this kind of new normal that we're trying to do. Having a nice, fun, socially distant event like this that you can get kids involved, just all age groups can go out and really have a good time searching. And, it's fun to just kind of explore our community like that, too.
Burns says each clue was solved within just a few minutes. Those who found the marbles were entered into drawings for a free class at the Glass Studio.
Still to come, more than 1 million people file for unemployment as Congress debates the extension of benefits for those out of work.
On this day back in 1945, as World War II was drawing to a close, we set the record high at 93 degrees. Come this weekend, some towns away from the lake especially could get pretty close to that mark. It's going to be hot and humid and potentially stormy. We'll talk about how long it'll last coming up after our break.
Live, local, CBS3 News at 10 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS3.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with me, Leanne Valdez, on CBS3.
The nursing program at Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College is really challenging, but it has to be. It's approved by the Board of Nursing. And graduates here have been successfully passing the state board exam. They give you real-world experience with healthcare institutions across the community. I'm really glad I chose Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College.
We're all doing our best to protect one another by remaining physically distant. We can also help our community's future by participating in health research. The All of Us Research Program is the largest active data collection effort, and it needs you to help find answers to health questions that have been out of our reach. Create an account, learn more, and complete surveys from the safety of your home. Call us, learn more online, or download the app to get started today. Together, we can help make a difference.
Here at Cook Hospital, we are open for both emergency and elective patients. With our rigorous cleaning measures, we've created a safe space for our patients to seek care and feel at ease during their visits. Call us today to set up an appointment or visit us online at cookhospital.org.
This is ultra-fast, insanely powerful, fiber-powered internet with speeds from 60 meg up to 1 gig. Supercharged home Wi-Fi. And 99.99% network reliability. It's gonna rock your world. Take your internet to the extreme, starting at just $19.99 a month for a year. Call 844-EXTREME2.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention women with ovarian cancer. Do you use talcum powder after showering? And did you know that talcum powder may increase your risk of ovarian cancer? If you are one of these thousands of women, call us now. You may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Time is running out, so make the call. Women with ovarian cancer. If you use talcum powder, please call now.
Classic Rock KQ is once again the Northland's #1 radio station. The KQ Morning Show, the most listened to radio program in the Northland. The KQ Train Wreck, the Northland's #1 afternoon show. Thank you for making us the Northland's #1 radio station, 95 KQDS.
I chose a career that isn't easy, it's dangerous, and it's hard. Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College has set me up with everything I need to succeed. Through challenging classes, longer defensive tactics training, and instructors who work in the industry, Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College is setting me up for success.
CBS3 Weather is brought to you by Lulich Implement. Now, the CBS3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Thanks to high pressure, today was a gorgeous day around the region and a gorgeous night as well. This picture comes courtesy of Kevin Jacobson, who used to be the CBS3 anchor back about 10 years ago. He's still out there, and he's got his eye to the sky. Beautiful night, fair today, foul for Friday, because the high pressure of today goes away and a big low comes to call. Clouds will go up, temperatures go up, humidity goes up, and rain could fall. And we'll talk about how much for how long coming up right now, after we take a look, of course, at the current conditions at Duluth International Airport. 59 degrees the current temp, 87% for the relative humidity. Yeah, relative humidity is going up over the weekend, too. It's going to be a bit uncomfortable. Easterly, southeasterly winds here right now at 7 miles per hour, and the air pressure is still high at 1,020 millibars, but with a low lurking just to the west, It's going to be going down as early as tomorrow morning when we get our first chance for rain. Temperatures right now run 57 to 64 from Watersmeet to Ironwood, and we're eyeing up 58 to 61 here in northwestern Wisconsin. Solon Springs is the warm spot this evening, and Superior, the cool spot. 64 for Moose Lake, 57 Silver Bay, and 63 towards the Vermilion Range. 61 to 66 degrees along the Mesabi and Borderlands in the mid-60s. Low temps tonight likely will be in the mid-50s for most towns. And then as the weekend unfolds, overnight lows may not dip very much under 70. It is going to be warm and humid and a bit uncomfortable, but a change could come as early as Monday and make things more tolerable. We just have to tolerate a fairly wild weekend. All right, no wildness right now, really, because of the high pressure. Clear sky for the UP and a clear sky in Wisconsin, and in Minnesota, the clouds are trying to filter in as the low pressure system comes our way. As it works into our area overnight here, by tomorrow morning, it'll deliver a 20% chance for showers, isolated thunderstorms. Then we get a break midday. Then it continues to bring back in the evening tomorrow night a 30% chance for showers and storms. A couple of those might become severe, but the better chance for severe weather from this low will happen on Saturday, where the morning may be calm. Then in the afternoon and evening, this low will deliver a 70% chance for storms, and Saturday night may be a bit bumpy with severe weather possible. That'll be tempered a little bit by Sunday afternoon when this high pressure system comes in behind the low and starts to dry us up, cool us down at least a little bit, and kick out the humidity too. So again, by Sunday afternoon, the worst of this weather could be over. For tonight in Minnesota, your low temps get into the 50s with increasing clouds, and they increase in Wisconsin and Michigan skies as well. Low temps mid to upper 50s there. For tomorrow, daytime highs, Wisconsin, Michigan, getting warm again, 82 to 86 with that 30% chance for the afternoon, evening showers and storms after the morning shot of 20%. Minnesota has the very same pattern going on. 20% morning chance, 30% evening chance. Daytime highs, mid-80s inland, low 70s by the lake. And with the extended forecast here, grin and bear it. Keep your fingers crossed through Sunday afternoon. Then it gets cooler and drier and sunnier. Monday through Thursday, sunny sky, high temp in the upper 70s to about 80 degrees.
All right, thanks, Dave. As states pull back on plans to reopen, more Americans are looking for work.
1.4 million workers filed new claims for unemployment benefits in the last week. That's the first increase in weekly claims since March.
The news comes just days before a $600 a week jobless benefit is set to expire. Here's CBS's Nancy Cordes.
Roughly 30 million Americans are now relying on unemployment checks. That's 1 in 5 U.S. workers whose finances are suddenly up in the air because of a Washington fight.
Why do they have to make a fuss over $600, which means a lot to many working families?
Expanded unemployment benefits, $600 extra per person per week, are due to run out at the end of this month. Unless Congress acts, states will start cutting smaller checks next week.
I can't express the level of rage that I have.
Britton Foster's benefits in New York will revert to $178 a week.
I can't pay my rent on that. I can't pay mine and my daughter's phone bill, our power bill, our car insurance, and our internet.
House Democrats passed a bill 2 months ago to extend the $600 benefit through January. But Senate Republicans said that's too generous and held off.
We can't give people a disincentive to go back to work. We'll never recover from this if we're all at home watching Netflix.
Today, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin proposed a new formula to give jobless workers 70% of their former wages.
If you were making $300, you're not going to get $600 this time, and that's fair.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
The unemployment insurance that we passed has kept more people out of poverty than just about anything else that's been passed. People need to feed their families.
At this point, it is highly unlikely Congress will be able to hammer out a compromise before the deadline. Republican sources concede tonight that there will likely be a short-term lapse in these expanded benefits, but that they should return in some form come August.
Still to come, the president cancels some events for the biggest event on the campaign trail. Details coming up.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. The TED event is happening now, where you're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Each year, about 1.5 million Americans are impacted by sepsis, which is responsible for 1 out of every 3 hospital deaths. A new program at Essentia Health is aimed at detecting sepsis earlier and responding to it faster.
Sepsis is when you have an overwhelming response to an infection. So if you imagine that if you got an infection on your thumb would get red and swollen, and that's a normal response that your immune system has to help fight the infection. When you get sepsis, what is happening is that entire response is happening throughout your whole body. And the immune system it's overreacting to the infection in a way that is now damaging your organs. Probably the most important thing that we can do is identify sepsis early. And what we need to do is, as soon as we identify it, starting the patient on broad spectrum antibiotics and getting them appropriate IV fluids to help improve their circulation.
Early detection can save lives, and confusion is a red flag. For somebody already dealing with an infection who then becomes confused, it's imperative they get to a hospital.
We've done a really good job nationally of increasing the public's awareness of things like stroke and heart attacks and how important early treatment is. We haven't done as good of a job about educating people about sepsis. And your chance of surviving an episode of sepsis or septic shock is directly related to how quickly we can treat you and diagnose you.
This effort is helping us achieve our aspirational aim of zero preventable harm. For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
This Medical Insight was brought to you by Essentia Health. To learn more about the services we offer, visit essentiahealth.org.
It's important that our part of the country gets counted.
Not just big cities, but small towns like ours.
We need our communities to be visible so that they can get all the resources that they need.
You can make a difference today by completing the 2020 census.
We don't want to miss out on grants for things like public housing, infrastructure,
schools, healthcare programs, and emergency medical services.
Shape the future of small towns.
Shape the future of the Hill Country.
Complete the census today.
Get your new John Deere tractor from Duluth Lawn and Sport, the region's largest power sports dealer. Classic Rock KQ is once again the Northland's #1 radio station. The KQ Morning Show, the most listened to radio program in the Northland. The KQ Train Wreck, the Northland's #1 afternoon show. Thank you for making us the Northland's #1 radio station. 95 KQDS.
Watch Anthony Matt weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m. on live local CBS3 Duluth.
President Donald Trump is announcing that he has canceled segments of the Republican National Convention scheduled for Florida next month.
The president cited a flare-up of coronavirus in the Sunshine State. He said Thursday, quote, "To have a big convention is not the right time." The president moved parts of the GOP convention to Florida last month amid a dispute with North Carolina's Democratic leaders over holding an event indoors with maskless supporters. But those plans were steadily scaled back as virus cases spiked in Florida and much of the country over the last month. As of now, convention events will still be held in North Carolina.
Coming up in sports, live baseball. Highlights from MLB's opening day coming up next.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with me, Leanne Valdez on CBS3.
Storm damage happens, and when it does, turn to Peak Construction Roofing, the Northland's storm damage experts. Peak simplifies the process for you every step of the way. With our skilled technicians, we quickly survey the situation to determine the best course of action. We offer insurance claims assistance to eliminate insurance confusion. Plus, we offer free storm damage inspections. Call Peak today to set up your free storm damage inspection, and let us take care of you.
Mom's gonna kill us.
Gorilla Super Glues. Of course.
Gorilla has a fix for every project. Original brush and nozzle and ultra control gel for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
It's the Ram Summer Clearance Event only at Duluth Dodge. Lease a new Ram Warlock Northwoods Edition for only $228. It's another Duluth Dodge Blue Ribbon lease. only at the new Duluth Dodge, 4755 Miller Trunk Highway, or DuluthDodgeMinnesota.com.
Bonjour and Dinaway Maganadub. Hello, all my relatives. I'm Dr. Arnie Vinio, and I live in Duluth, and I love Duluth and the surrounding communities. Keeping COVID-19 from spreading is going to depend on all of us. Washing our hands frequently, keeping social distance, staying home if you can, and wearing a face mask is important. We need to keep our elders and those most vulnerable safe. This is about respect. This is about love.
I want people to tune in, and I want them to see a friend, because I'm a mother and I know how hard it can be. You're doing all these things and then you have the child and then no one talks to you about how lonely it can be. You know, who do you lean to? Who do you connect with? This segment is very important to me because I get to work, but I also get to work on my passion.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with Leanne Valdez on CBS3.
When news happens, CBS3 is there. We're cutting in with a follow-up to some breaking news.
Anytime, day or night, more cases of the coronavirus are popping up across the Northlands.
The only confirmed cases in northeastern Minnesota.
Not do shopping today unless you absolutely must. Do not collect any supplies or equipment unless you absolutely need it today.
The Northland has seen its first coronavirus-related death.
For breaking stories that impact the Northland most, tune to CBS3.
I'm Eric Simonson, and I approve this message. As a husband and a father, as a neighbor and a firefighter, and as your proud state senator, I'm asking for your support in the DFL primary election in August. The pandemic and recent tragic events have been challenging all of us. In the Senate, I'm working to make sure this recovery prioritizes the health, safety, and economic security of working families. I'm fighting for justice and equality for our communities of color, and I'm working to make sure quality health care and housing is affordable for everyone. Play ball. July 23rd, 2020, just about 140 days after the season was slated to begin, teams finally took the field for MLB opening day in front of no fans. Live baseball, though, nevertheless, this evening, defending World Series champ Washington Nationals hosting the New York Yankees. Yankees wasting no time. Top of the first, 2 outs, 1 on. Giancarlo Stanton homers to deep left center. Aaron Judge scores. Bronx Bombers take a 2-0 lead. Who gets the balls when in outfield when there's a home run? That's my question. Bottom of the first, Nationals find a way to match. This will do something. Adam Eaton homers. Nats now trail 2-1. This was halted for rain and then eventually called. Yankees win 4-1 the final. A week from tomorrow, we will have NBA basketball back, which means the Milwaukee Bucks will continue their pursuit of a championship. Today, their first tune-up scrimmage in the NBA bubble against the Spurs, and they didn't seem to miss a beat, especially you know who. Giannis Antetokounmpo takes it straight to the bucket. He had 22 points in 1 minutes played. No problem in the first of 3 scrimmages for Milwaukee. They take it 113-92. Love seeing basketball on my television screen. We now have more clarity on the future of high school sports in Wisconsin this coming fall. The WIAA Board of Control met this morning and issued new start dates for sports across the entire state. Fall sports will be divided into 2 categories, high risk and low risk. The high risk sports, including football, boys soccer, and volleyball, will have their first practices pushed back to September 7th, with games coming sometime after that. Low-risk sports, including cross-country, girls golf, girls swimming, and girls tennis, can begin on August 17th. Individual school districts can still opt out of these policies, and the WIAA says the spring opportunities will be provided. There are still more details to come, but that is the plan as for now. Northwestern Athletic Director Brian Smith says it's nice to have some guidance to start with as they continue to assess their local situation.
So it answered 2 big-ticket items. And now you got to get into the logistics of it all. You know, when can you start playing games? Will there be a playoff? Will there be a playoff at all? If so, will it be reduced? How many games are we going to get to play? Are we going to be able to get 6 or 7 in, only 5? Because those have to be answered yet. What will game night look like? Will game night be the players and a few parents? Will it be the community, the student body, the pep band, all those things that we're used to? There's a lot of logistical things that have to be worked out. I'm sure there'll be a little disappointment in the fact that we're going to lose some games, but I think there's going to be some relief knowing that we're going to get games and some meaningful games.
The Heart of North Conference has an all-athletic directors meeting next Wednesday to determine what their schedules may be. Smith added that it's safe to say Northwestern's non-conference games against Ashland and Rice Lake will indeed be canceled. So as of right now, this is what we're looking at. Football must be done by November 20th for it to happen in the fall. And on this current timeline, games would start on Wednesday, September 23rd, which could be a conference-by-conference determination, depending on what the playoffs look like and if they have to shrink or eliminate them. We'll determine how many regular season games are played. Still a lot to figure out. It's safe to expect more from the WIAA coming soon. And for more information, you can head to our website, CBS3.com. The NHL officially has a 32nd team, and it's in Seattle. After looking at more than 120 possible names, officials decided to call the NHL's newest team the Kraken. The Kraken, of course, is a mythical sea monster. Of course, I learned it this morning. A fictitious sea creature and a type of giant squid. The franchise was awarded to Seattle more than 18 months ago. They'll begin playing in the fall of 2021. That is going to do it for sports tonight. We'll be right back after the break.
CBS3 Closed Captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health Pharmacies, keeping things safe, simple, and convenient through mail, local delivery, drive-through, and curbside pickup services.
The nursing program at Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College is really challenging, but it has to be. It's approved by the Board of Nursing. And graduates here have been successfully passing the state board exam. They give you real-world experience with healthcare institutions across the community. I'm really glad I chose Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College.
This summer, it's time to get back outdoors. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Enjoy the sunshine in the family-friendly Pilot or the rugged Passport. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the Pilot at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
Day gets easier.
No one serves you better than Lulich Implement.
We dance for healing. We dance for one another. For connection. In ways like no other. Together. Or even apart. We are resilient. The 2020 census is here, and we need to do our part for our people.
This thing is really dusty.
I chose a career that isn't easy, it's dangerous, and it's hard. Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College has set me up with everything I need to succeed. Through challenging classes, longer defensive tactics training, and instructors who work in the industry, Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College is setting me up for success.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men. Mainstream is your wedding headquarters. Downtown Duluth.
Although fans can't be there in person to watch the MLB season kickoff, the Texas Rangers found a unique way to fill their stands.
Yeah, Rangers fans are filling the seats at the new Globe Life Park with cutouts just in time for the 2020 opener, part of the Doppel Rangers program. For a $50 donation, fans send in their picture to have a flat fan created to fill the seats behind home plate. All proceeds benefit the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation and support their efforts in helping the community.
You should put some of those wacky, waving, inflatable arm men.
Yeah.
Like Colin Oraskovich.
Yes.
He did a perfect impression of that.
He sure did.
You got a perfect forecast for us, or probably not, huh?
You know, since opinions on weather vary. Maybe it's perfect for somebody at some point. We'll show it to you in all of its glory and anti-glory. If you don't like it stormy, Friday, Saturday, Sunday won't be for you. It'll be hot, humid, and stormy, perhaps from Friday night through Sunday morning. But then it'll become cooler, calm, and collected by Monday, upper 70s for highs, lower humidity, and sunshine Monday on through next Thursday.
All right. Have a great rest of your night.
We'll see you tomorrow night.